is going on, beautiful people of the internet? My name is Garrett Wolf, and I'd like to welcome each and every one of you back to the Garrett Wolf podcast. This is the number one show for 18 to 35-year-old men who want to go from skinny fat to fitness freak, all without giving up the most enjoyable modalities of their life. In this episode, guys, we're going to be talking about 3 mindset hacks that you can implement into your life to help you achieve nearly any outcome. All right, so we're going to dive right in today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in once again. If you want to support the podcast, or if you think anything I have here is valuable, anything I have to say here is valuable, then you can screenshot my nice, beautiful face right here, or you can screenshot the podcast image, share it to your Instagram stories, and tag me at underscore Garrett Wolf for a chance to win, maybe some money or a PDF or a free ebook. I got all kinds of giveaways going on about 4 times a week on my Instagram. So if you want a chance to win one of those and you think what I have to say is important, then please go ahead and screenshot it, share it to your Instagram story, and tag me at underscore Garrett Wolf. But other than that, guys, without further ado, we're going to dive right into it today and talk about 3 mindset hacks that you can implement today that can help you reach basically any desirable outcome. All right. And number 1, we're going to be starting off with changing your phone and your PC backgrounds to remind you of the goal you have, right? So a quick little story. Back in about, let's see here, I believe it was about 2020, I joined an online program called the Change Lives Academy. It wasn't called that at the time. At the time it was called the 10K Academy, but now it's called the Change Lives Academy. And the whole point of this program was to basically teach online trainers or online coaches how to make $10,000 a month, right? By online coaching, online training. And that's where I learned basically the foundations and fundamentals of everything I know today, and how I train my clients, how I teach my clients, how I market myself through Instagram and Facebook and all these social media platforms. It's even how I learned how to podcast like this here. So the CEO or the head coach of the Change Lives Academy, B. Mark Fit, he taught me this insane strategy, this insane mindset hack. So basically, what it boils down to is the difference between a thought and a belief. I kind of just made a video on this on my Instagram Reels page recently. The difference between a thought and a belief is that, you see, thoughts are 95% the same every single day. So if you have any kind of given thought, whether it's positive or negative, and you're constantly thinking that thought, then it's probably a reoccurring thought. It's one of the 95% that's going to be reoccurring in your head over and over again all day, right? And a belief is something outside of a thought. So it's something outside of a thought loop that might be part of the 5% that you think sometimes, right? That maybe you believe that you can achieve this, or maybe you believe that this thing is true, or maybe you believe that if you do this, this outcome will happen, right? That's the difference between a thought and a belief. So to turn a belief into a thought, you need to experience it on a reoccurring basis, right? So let's say you believe that, you can achieve a phys fit freak body, or you can achieve a fitness freak body, you can shred down 20 pounds of fat and gain 20 pounds of muscle, right? A complete body recomposition, if you will. Let's say you believe that. So the difference between that being a belief and a thought is that you might only think it once every week or so, or once a month, or those goals that you think of every so often and then you kind of forget about it. That's what I'm talking about. That's a belief. And so to make a belief into a reoccurring thought, something that you think about all the time and something that you can implement on, is you need to make it something that reoccurs in your environment over and over again to spark that new thought every single day, right? So changing your phone screen and your PC background is an incredibly easy way to do this. You can even put posters up on the wall. This is something that I did, back to the story, when I joined the Change Lives Academy. I literally put posters and sticky notes all over my wall. I mean, it looked like an insane asylum. It literally looked like someone who had completely lost their mind. I was posting up sticky notes and pieces of paper with thumbtacks. I didn't care about putting holes in the wall. I literally would put holes in the wall everywhere with like the little thumbtacks and shit with the note cards. I would pull the paint off the wall with my sticky notes and things. I was absolutely crazy about it. And I put the Change Lives Academy schedule. I mixed it in with some other pictures on a website called Canva. It's a really great like photo image editing website. I put it in, mixed some of my symbols in there, like a picture of a wolf and some schedule things that I wrote in, and I put that as my PC and my phone background. And this was an absolute game changer when it came to changing a belief into a reoccurring thought. So that's something you guys should give a try, implement on right away. Whatever you can figure out to make it reoccur in your environment, to make you spark that new thought every single day. That's how you're gonna turn a thought, or that's sorry, excuse me. That's how you're gonna turn a belief into a thought, and that's the number one mindset hack to achieving basically anything in life. You can kind of prescribe this to any modality of life, right? It doesn't just have to be training or um, mindset, education, cooking, like any kind of skills, like skiing or basketball. You can put basketball posters up on your wall. You could put some of your basketball heroes up on the wall to just remind you that you want to get good at basketball. And then, you might wake up one day and see, a picture of Michael Jordan on the wall, and that'll remind you, like, fuck, I want to get good at basketball, right? And that'll spark some motivation in you, and that'll make you go to the gym. And motivation is good, but it's not a reliable teammate, right? I always talk about how momentum is way better than motivation. Positive momentum is one of the strongest driving forces on the planet, as well as negative momentum. So you have to be careful which one you fall into. But that brings me to point number 2, guys, and that is when the student becomes the teacher. All right, this is another way you can take a belief and turn it into a thought, but it's outside of your environment. It's something that you actually create. So when you learn something, you retain, we've all heard different statistics about this, right? You retain like 1 or 2 things from any given piece of education. So say you read a book or like watch a podcast, for example, watch a YouTube video, you're going to retain about 1, maybe 3 things max if you're a genius. Most people retain 1, some people retain 2, and then if you're a genius, you might retain 3 things, right? But those 3 things that you retain, even if you're a genius, right, you're going to forget the vast majority of them within the next, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a month down the line. Because we all know life gets crazy. Life gets absolutely crazy, and we forget things. We don't mean to, but like I said, 90 to 95% of the thoughts you experience on a day-to-day basis are going to be the same. So one way you can combat this is if you simply teach somebody what you just learned, or when you learn a new mindset or a new skill or a new tactic/strategy, you teach it to someone, and this not only cements it in your brain, this not only like creates a reoccurring thought and creates you, literally speaking it and hearing it into existence, but you're using all your senses to create this new thought, right? You're using your auditory, you're hearing yourself say it, you're thinking as you're saying it, and you're seeing the other person's facial expressions as you teach it to them. So this is going to reinforce and really cement that idea or whatever it is that you're trying to learn. And so that is when the student becomes the teacher, and I would highly suggest you try implementing this into your life. It's something that I do, and it's super easy, guys, because we talk about like being a content creator, being an influencer, and like, or being an online coach, whatever you are, is like, when you learn something new, literally just teach fact check it first, right? Make sure it's true, and make sure the source that you're learning from is credible, obviously. I mean, that's always been step 1. But then take the knowledge and information that you gather and teach it, like make it into a piece of content. Make it into some reels or TikToks or a podcast or a YouTube video, and teach it to people, because that's the best way to, cement it and concrete it in your mind, is to actually teach it to someone else. And when you're talking about content creation and things that a lot of people and influencers find really hard, which I find actually incredibly easy, is just teach what you're learning. And if you're not learning anything, then that's probably why you can't figure out how to make any content, is because you're not learning anything new and you have no idea what to post. It's not your fault. It's not, you don't know what you don't know, but it's about learning that know-how and then teaching it to your audience in whatever way you can. And that's how you cement yourself as an authority when you're teaching other people things, because obviously when you're teaching something, it means that you know it, and those go hand in hand. Obviously when you're teaching something, you learn it and know it more. Can you imagine, like, I literally can't even imagine like how, I'm trying to think of what the best word is, like how repetitive it is being like a high school teacher or a college professor, right? Because you literally teach the same curriculum to like 5 different classes every single day, cementing that knowledge into your brain. But the problem with that much repetition, though, is it leaves minimal room for improvement, right? They've been teaching kind of the same curriculum for so long, kind of leaves minimal room for learning new things and improving on that said curriculum, which I think that's a whole nother conversation, a whole nother topic for discussion. But I think that's one of the big reasons why our education system is so kind of fucked up, is that we're teaching the same curriculum for so many years, and even though new information is coming out and arising on the internet because we have so much widespread knowledge, nobody's actually implementing on it because we've just been teaching the same curriculum for years, and it's hard for us to get out of that kind of cycle of teach this, we kind of cement it in our minds, and so we keep teaching it that way because that's how we learned it. And even though there are new and better ways emerging, like, dude, I mean, don't even get me started on like when in math class you would get the right answer and they would be like, show your work. Bro, that shit gets me absolutely freaking heated. I cannot stand that shit. Any math teacher that ever did that to me, curse you. I'm never coming back to high school and giving you money, but I am coming back to high school and giving money to all my favorite teachers. So watch out for that, guys. In the next 5 years, you're all getting like a nice stack of cash. So I promise you that. But none of you fucking math teachers that made me show my work. I fucking absolutely hate you guys. You guys are disgusting. Okay, but that brings me to point 3, guys, right? So let's do a little recap here. Point number 1, right, was change your phone and your PC background, okay? So change your phone and PC background. This is going to spark a new thought, which can, transform a belief into a thought. So any kind of vision, dream, or goal that you have, put it in your environment and it'll switch from a belief to a reoccurring thought, and this is how you can accomplish this goal. Number 2 is the student becomes the teacher. So every time you learn something new that you fact check and make sure it's true, you need to teach to somebody else, because teaching is actually it's the best teacher, right? Teaching is the best teacher. I don't know if you've ever heard that. I've never heard that, but it sounds kind of catchy. Teaching is the best teacher. So when you learn something new, teach it to someone else, and that's the best way to cement it in your mind and concrete the knowledge that you just learned into your mind. So number 1, change your phone screen and your PC background, or put posters up around your wall, right? Just get it in your environment. Number 2 is student becomes the teacher. Every time you learn something new, teach it to someone else, and that's going to be the best teacher, the best way to concrete it into your mind. And then number 3, guys, is momentum over motivation, right? So many people come to me and they're like, I'm not motivated to go to the gym, right? Or I'm motivated for like a week or 2 weeks, and then I lose motivation and I just can't go anymore. Guys, motivation doesn't last. I mean, how obvious is this? Motivation is like, what is it like? I mean, it's like a hunger, right? It's like you get hungry for these things sometimes when you see something in your environment. For example, like maybe you see a TikTok or a reel and you're like, fuck, I want to be like that guy. Or maybe you see an Instagram post and you're like, shit, I want to be like that guy. But that's what we're talking about. We're turning beliefs into reoccurring thoughts. Is you see these things all the time and you're like, fuck, I want to be like that guy. So figure out what that guy did and put everything that he did in your environment so that you can know exactly what to do on a day-to-day basis to become like that guy. If you see somebody who's jacked online, right, and you're like, fuck, I want to be jacked, take that guy's picture, put it in your environment, all right, no homo, like post it up on your wall, it's fine, like shirtless men on your wall is fine, that's completely normal, and then just look at that every single day, and that'll remind you that you want to be jacked like said guy, and that'll give you motivation every single day to go to the gym. But you can't rely on motivation, right? Because what if you don't see the picture of the jacked guy every day, right? What if you go away, life happens? What if you don't have a poster up, right? What if you just have like a spur of the moment motivation because you see a reel or a movie or a YouTube video or anything like that? That's where momentum comes in, and it'll push you along, it'll push you over the edge and keep you going towards your goal even when you don't have motivation to back you up. So guys, I've been training for like almost 8 years now, right? So I don't need motivation to go to the gym. In fact, you would have to motivate me to not go to the gym, because I've been moving so fast for so long. I'm in such positive momentum that to stop my momentum train, you would have to literally be like a 100-foot wide, like 100-foot thick concrete wall. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm moving so fast on the momentum winning train that there's basically nothing that can stop me. I mean, I would have to be so sad, I would have to be so depressed, something so crazy would have to happen to me to make me not want to go to the gym. And even so, I'm telling you, like, I would still want to go to the gym. Like, even on my rest days, I really want, for example, today's Monday, it's a rest day for me because because over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday were supposed to be rest days, but I went anyway. And even today on a Monday, now it's supposed to be a rest day because my body's all beaten up and I can feel that, but I still want to go to the gym. I'm actually contemplating in my head right now if I should go to the gym after this podcast, and I honestly probably will. I probably will because I love it. I mean, I know that I want to be jacked. I want to be a muscular high status man, and I want to, accomplish all the things and all the modalities in my life that I perceive as important. And being a jacked, or sorry, I keep using jacked too much. Being a buff or muscular man is going to help me, I know, in basically all aspects of my life. I want to be 100 years old speed walking up hills, and I know that if I want to accomplish said vision, then I need to train while I'm young. I need to work out while I'm young and build as much muscle as humanly possible, not only to cement lifelong gains and increase my metabolism, but to also give me lifelong muscle memory. That's something a lot of people forget, is that when you lift and you gain as much mass as physically possible, say you lift for 10 to 20 years, you basically unlock a cheat code for the rest of your life that you can gain muscle now easier than everyone else, because muscle memory is a very real thing, and your muscles will come back to basically almost full capacity, not full capacity as you are in like your 20s and 30s, but it'll come up and it'll be a lot easier for you to build muscle than it will for your peers. I'm telling you, this is one thing people forget, is that in your old age you're not going to be able to build muscle as easily as you are when you're young. So when you're 40, don't expect to be able to put on as much muscle as you were able to when you're my age, like when you're 20, because it just doesn't work like that. You lose out on a lot of your muscle building ability as you age, the older you get. So that's one of the reasons that you need to get in positive momentum now, so that later down the line your metabolism is raised, you can cut down fat effortlessly, you can run up, probably not run, but you can speed walk up hills at 100 years old, and you can just live a far better, healthier life, and you don't need someone to help you wipe your ass when you're older, right? That's like one of my biggest fears, is having someone else wipe my fucking ass, because that's not a job that anybody wants, right? It's not a job that anybody wants. Alright, guys, so a little recap here. We're talking about 3 mindset hacks that you can implement today to basically make progress towards any goal that you might have. Number 1 is change your phone and PC background to something that reoccurs a thought, right? So when you have a belief, you're trying to turn it into a reoccurring thought. Put it in your environment. Environment is destiny. Put posters on your wall, change your background, change your phone screen, and I promise you it'll spark that reoccurring thought. Number 2 is the student becomes the teacher. All you have to do is every time you learn something new that you perceive as high value, teach it to somebody else. Go up to your parents or your friends, be like, hey, like I just learned this new mindset hack and I just wanted to relay it to you and kind of get your thoughts on it to kind of cement it in my mind. Like, is that okay? They're obviously going to say yes, and if they say no, you probably shouldn't be hanging around that type of person anyway, because I don't understand why you would be around someone who doesn't support your mindset or your goals. So student becomes the teacher. That's number 2, guys. And number 3 is momentum trumps motivation. Everyone relies on motivation these days, and motivation is honestly the killer of success, because motivation is temporary and success only comes out of long-term strategic moves. All right, so doing things out of the spur of the moment motivation is never going to last. You're never going to be happy with the outcome. So please, please, please don't rely on motivation anymore. You need to get yourself in positive momentum. And that's why I ordered these in the 1, 2, 3 order that I did, because step 1, guys, is turning that belief into a reoccurring thought. That's step 1. You need to get 95% of your thoughts aligned with one dream, one vision, one goal, one outcome, right? Because you say you want to get a jacked body, right? Or you say you want to get a FizFit Freak body. But then there's like a million factors that coincide with that. So you need to get specific. You need to get really, really dialed in and pinpoint what you want to do. So do you want to gain muscle first? Do you want to shred fat first? Do you want to build up your stamina first? Do you want to build up your cardio first? Do you want to get more mobility first? What do you want to do first? You need to be specific, because specificity is the king of adaptation, all right? Remember that. Specificity is the king of adaptation. I'm going to say it again for the kids in the back. Specificity is the king of adaptation. Not only when it comes to your body and building muscles, because that's true too. Specificity is the king of adaptation when it comes to packing on muscle as well. But specificity is also the king of adaptation in your actual life. If you're not specific with your goals, then you're never going to achieve them. You need to be specific with not only the goals, but also the outcomes and the path to get there. You need a plan, a specific plan dedicated to getting towards your goal. All right. So number one, put it in your background, get it in your environment. Number two, student becomes the teacher. Speak it into existence. Start telling everybody around you so that this belief starts getting cemented and becomes a reoccurring thought. And then momentum trumps motivation, guys. After you do the first two steps, the third one should come pretty easily for you. After 2 to 4 weeks of these kind of implementations and sparking this reoccurring thought, you should start getting out of negative momentum and at least getting a little bit and at least start getting a little bit into positive momentum, making it a whole lot easier for you to accomplish those goals and dreams that you're after. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today. That's all I got for you from me today. I'm probably going to go to the gym right now after I upload this because like I said, I'm super addicted to the gym and I'm incredibly deep in positive momentum. So I don't want to stop that. But if you guys enjoyed, little ding dong there, I don't know if you guys heard that, but if you guys enjoyed today's episode, please screenshot my face, share it to your Instagram stories, tag me at _Garrett Wolf, and I'll give you a nice free gift for doing so. And yeah, make sure to follow the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube, follow me on Instagram. I'm on all socials, so give me a shout. Let me know if you need some help going from skinny fat to fizz fit freak, and I can't wait to see you all in the next podcast. Thanks for viewing, watching, and subscribing. See you guys later.